Morning, so today's session is going to be a nice stretch for the spine. So come down onto your elbows and just stack your elbows under your shoulders, feet just on the parallel line. And then from here, just for the beginning, think about just collapsing into that. So let your breastbone sink, let your whole pelvis roll back, and you're just sort of hanging into your shoulders. And then adjust so that those elbows feel like they can press away through the floor. And then first, we're going to just isolate pelvic movements. So pour that marble in your abdomen towards your pubic bone. Feel the length through the pelvis, and then roll the marble, collapse through the pelvis back into that belly button. So we roll the marble forward and we roll the marble back. And then you're going to find that halfway position where you feel that you've got that nice length through the pelvis and you're anchoring the tip of the tailbone down into the floor. Then here, imagine a helium balloon in your chest. Push the elbows down through the floor and lift through the chest. So we've got this nice length through the spine and we're widening and smiling through the collarbones. Head and neck looking straight ahead in front of you, giving yourself a gentle double chin, and you're going to feel that nice stretch into the shoulders there. So just hold that and breathe into there. And now keeping the length through the waist, we're going to lift and lower and lift and lower. Keep pressing through the floor, keep lifted through the breastbone and keeping the length through the pelvis. So as the knee comes towards you, we don't collapse back, we grow taller. Looking straight ahead, last two here and last one. Then from here, slide 1 foot out along the floor, keeping the length through the pelvis, push away through those forearms, through the elbows, and then we lift and lower here. Good, keeping the length, so that long leg, don't let the pelvis collapse back. Last 3, 2, 1, come into that little hover, so hovering the leg just above the mat, and then we're going out and in, keeping lifted through the body, out and in for 4 more, hinging at that hip socket, keeping the pelvis lengthened and still. Last one, back to center, bring that leg back in, and then from here to have a little rest, we're going to peel up onto our arms and bring those hands with the fingertips facing just comfortably for you out behind you on the diagonal line. Plug in through the heels of the hands and just lift again through the breastbone, anchoring the sit bones down into the mat. And just smile through the collarbones, really push the floor away to get the stretch through the chest. And then we're going to explore just taking those fingertips a little bit further back behind you. If you can't do that and it's uncomfortable at all, don't. And you can wriggle perhaps those heels of the hands a little bit closer towards you. Glide the shoulder blades down the chest wall and lift through the body and stretch here. Big breath into the rib cage. And then explore, if you can, taking these fingertips a little bit further towards one another and lift. You'll get even more of a stretch. And then we're going to explore going the other way. So start to turn the fingers out, away from one another, push away. And then again, out maybe to east to west and push away. You might be able to wriggle those hands a little bit closer to the body and lift, anchoring or dropping out through those sit bones as you reach the crown of the head upwards. Then start to turn the hands inwards and push away. And now facing forwards. And I struggle a little bit on this, so you might not be able to get this range. Just do what you feel is comfortable. You don't have to have them fully forward. Lift and release. Then from here, find wherever's comfortable for you, for your wrists. And then we're going to do a little bit of elbow bends. As you bend the elbows, Try and think of, rather than them being out to the side, them squeezing together, and then push and extend the elbows, lift the upper body. So we bend and we lift, we bend. As we press and lift, drop the sit bones down into the floor, away from the crown of the head and the length through the body. Last two, press. Last one, find that length through the body and release. We're going to come back down onto our elbows. Stack those elbows under the shoulders, push the forearms through the floor, lengthen through the pelvis, lift through the upper body. And then from here we slide the other leg out long. We lift and lower. Keep the length through the pelvis. Stay lifted through the chest. Last two, last one. We hover out and in, keeping that pelvis nice and still, keeping the length through the pelvis. Push away from the floor, smiling through those collarbones. 3 more, 2, 1. Back to center, plug in, push up. Reach a leg out long and the other one, reach those arms up. Lengthen through the spine and fold forward. Point and flex through the feet and hold. Breath in. And then reach those arms forward, come back up, tall. Then bring those arms down by the side of you. Last exercise in this position, come down onto those elbows. Fold the legs back up, and this time you're going to bring the knees together, feet slightly wider, and turn the toes in towards one another like you're pigeon-toed. Find the length through the pelvis, push away from the floor. So we're really retraining upper body posture. We slide both feet out and you're trying to keep your knees turned in towards one another, toes facing each other. The knees will come apart. Then roll and spiral the whole feet and knees and thighs outwards. Slide one leg up and the other, then close the knees, turn the toes inwards to face each other. Try and keep the knees glued, but they will come apart. Spiral out, one leg and the other. Last one here, we close. Turn those feet inwards and keeping those knees as best you can facing inwards. Then spiral out, one leg and the other. And then this time, we're gonna bring the feet together, flat on the floor, and then make sure you've got the length through the pelvis. Open out here, rolling onto the outside edge of the foot, and close, and open, and close. Last one, we open, stay lifted through the floor, and just feel that nice openness through the hips and the length through the pelvis. Close. And then slide one foot out and the other. Plug in, come up, reach up, breath in, and exhale, fold forward. Into that nice spine stretch. Flex the feet and point, flex and point, flex and point. Flex to finish and hold. Keep sending your tailbone out behind you, keeping that back as straight as you can. Then reach and come back up. And then from here, split the legs out wide and bring the arms out at shoulder height. From here, we rotate up and out the waist, keeping anchored through the sit bones, and reach towards that opposite little toe. Backhand reaches out behind you, palm up to the ceiling, and hold. Then come back up, rotate through to the other side and reach. Rotate to the other side and reach. Rotate and reach. Come back to center, reach up, breath in. And then bring those arms down by the side of you. Roll your shoulders back. Bring those feet back to center, and we're going to do a roll up to the mat. So if you have osteoporosis, if you've got any tummy separation issues or some doming or hernias, then pregnancy as well, this isn't appropriate. Just come through side lying and onto the mat that way. Otherwise, join me here with reaching those arms up, grow tall through the spine. And then we're not rolling back by collapsing through the rib cage, we're tucking our tailbone under, so we sink here. Pubic bone shortens towards belly button with the tummy sunken inwards, and you're lengthening your feet away from you. Keep going here, tucking under, sinking the tummy inwards, tucking under, reaching those feet away from you, and curl down through each vertebra onto that mat, and just feel that nice release through the spine. Breath in, everybody here can reach the fingertips away from those toes. And then exhale, melt, and let the elbows soften. Let those thigh bones spiral out from the hip sockets and let go. And just enjoy that there. Then bring those arms down, fold one knee up and the other. Glue the knees and feet together and bring your arms out at shoulder height, palms up to the ceiling on the floor. And then here we roll the knees to one side, making sure that top foot stacked on the bottom foot and travels with you. Shoulder blades stay heavy on the mat and turn your head in the opposite direction. And then rock back to center and switch. Feet stay together. Shoulder blades stay heavy and switch. And switch. Back to center, feet hip width apart. Place your hands on your rib cage. And now gently breath in, filtering the air in through your nose. And with the out breath, just allow your body to become heavier in the floor and mat underneath you. And as I close this video, you can stay here for as long as you need.